Good evening, everybody. This is Gertrude here in Wellington, New Zealand. This is video number 23, and it was inspired again by one of my listeners who said to me, Gertrude, could you talk about drug addiction and the impact it has on one's loved ones? So let's first of all look at what drug addiction is. It's that disease that makes you too selfish to see the havoc that you're creating or care about the people whose lives you have shattered. It is a condition that really affects a lot of people around the world. And the impact of addiction is not just on the individual, but it's on the spouse, the parents, and most importantly, the children, if there are any children in a relationship where there is one parent who is addicted. And the sad thing is, for the spouses, the love for that person is still there, but that love is destroyed by the behavior patterns that addiction can make a person exhibit. So it's really crucial to be able to communicate with the children and talk to the children and find out how they feel about the situation. They say that the worst thing is watching someone drown and not being able to convince them that they can save themselves just by standing up. So being affected by drugs or addicted to drugs is like drowning in shallow water. And a lot of the times, the people who are affected by this condition can't even see the way out. It becomes a habit, it becomes a way of living, and it's as simple sometimes as just changing one's mind around that condition. I had a friend who wrote an amazing book. She's based in Dallas, Texas, and her book is called Going Home Another Way. And she talks about how she broke her drug addiction by changing the road she used to go home every day. When I met her, I was amazed at what this woman managed to do with her life after having been under the influence for a number of years. And she said to me, Gertrude, one day I decided I needed to change my life. And all of the drug dealers were on the road or on the path that she used to go home. So Going Home Another Way, if any of you out there know somebody who is in pain, who is trying to find a way to get out of their addictive state, look it up on Amazon, Going Home Another Way by Mary Sims. It is a powerful, powerful book of how this woman got addicted to drugs at a very late age in her life, but was able to get out of it by simply changing the road that she used to go home. So Mary, I am so proud of what you have done with your life and how many people you've inspired with your story. So it's really important for the people involved to set very clear boundaries, especially around the children, how much you expose your children to, and how much you take, despite the fact that you love that person. You have to remember to keep loving yourself too. Sometimes it's better to find a support group that can be around you and support you in those times. People who have gone through or are going through a similar experience. So Going Home Another Way is the book. And Rachel, thank you for tuning in. Super, I can see you all the way in Kenya. John Sanders, Meg Gordon. This is a very important topic, and it is affecting people all over the world. It's not just here in New Zealand. I was working in the United States, and there is a time in a person's life when they can't even see the wood from the trees after a while. Being addicted isn't nearly as bad as being sober and loving a drug addict and caring for someone with all your heart who you know that you can't help, whether it's a family member, whether it's a spouse, whether it's a friend. Nothing will screw you up more than being associated with a drug addict. You can't save them, but you can sure as hell destroy yourself in the process. So I guess one has to do the best you can in these conditions. And especially if you have shared custody for children, you get dragged into hell. Drugs take you to hell, which is disguised as heaven. And I hope that this message will go out to a lot of young people who are experimenting, perhaps, that once you get started, it is a slippery road to try and get out. You don't get over an addiction by stopping using. You recover by creating a new lifestyle. You have to change your friends, the people that you hang out with, and it won't be easy. But if you really want to create a new life, you have to create a new environment for you to survive. It is a matter of survival. Then all the factors that brought you to your addiction will never catch up with you again if you avoid them. So I am hoping that my message, like I said, will reach as many young people out there as possible. Before you get started, think of the people that you love and the impact it's going to have on them. If you're a parent, think about your children, because you are a role model, and what you do can be emulated or copied by your children. And before you know it, they will go down the same slippery path that you have gone down yourself. And that would be absolutely heartbreaking to watch if you're sober enough to realize what you've done. So this is Gertrude here in Wellington, New Zealand. Rachel, thank you for inspiring this particular subject. Please reach out to me, everybody, if you have any questions, any social issues you'd like me to touch on. Send me an inbox message. And if you need a life coach or a life strategist, if you want to write your book, get in touch, because I call myself the book midwife and I help people birth their stories. And look out for a new book that is coming out, written by a very good friend of mine here in New Zealand, but written from a child's perspective of the impact of drug addiction. I think it's going to be an interesting read to anybody who's parenting or anybody who knows somebody who's affected. Inbox me if you would like to know more about this book. So that's my message for today. Goodbye for now, and I will catch up with all of you again tomorrow.